Hey everyone, I've been offered an ambassador spot over at coffeebrandcoffee.com. Great coffee, no gimmicks. If you're looking for good coffee with a little politics involved, go check them out and use my code ALLSTARSCRUBS at checkout to get a 5% off discount. Like I said, great coffee, no gimmicks. Coffee brand with little to no politics involved. Like I said, use my code ALLSTARSCRUBS at checkout to get a 5% off discount. Thank you. This helps my content a lot. It really does. Yeah, so I don't really have a plan for this. This is just kind of an off-the-cuff response reaction to Callum Upton's view on the Starfield debacle around the pronouns and gender identity. I've already watched the video part of the way through, so I have a good idea of what he's going to say, but I'm going to play it through and respond as I go because I think that he's being extremely disingenuous. I'm not trying to attribute motive. He's a good guy, and he normally has a good viewpoint on a lot of things. I've been subscribed to his channel, watching him since before the Dream World debacle, which he will reference here in a minute with his Nightmare World game. But no, so he decided that he's going to be upset about the Act Man plane going overhead. Sorry, guys. So he decided he's going to get upset because Act-Man got upset about the pronouns menu at the start of Starfield, and a lot of people have this same opinion and are really upset and tired of just seeing this gender identity and gender politics being injected everywhere, even when it's not necessary, constantly. So I guess I'll just let him lead into it, and then I'll start building off what he has to say.
Ladies and gents, you've joined me from the brand new office. It's not quite ready yet, but hey, I think it's looking pretty damn good already. Now, I wasn't going to make a video until this was perfect and complete. I'm a perfectionist in that way. However, I stumbled upon a video on Twitter of all places, of a middle-aged man having a mental breakdown over pronouns in Starfield. I don't actually know how to kind of parse this information and how to comprehend it, because it's pretty damn stupid, and I'll get into reasons why in a minute. But let's roll back and have a quick look at the clip, shall we, and then we'll discuss it.
Yeah, you're not really doing yourself any favor by starting out your whole argument by basically throwing out an ad hominem attack, buddy. You're discrediting your own intelligence, and I know you're a highly intelligent person and a very well put together person, and you're not presenting yourself in a very beneficial light by starting out with your whole argument of "this is stupid" because I said so.
Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off. Fuck that. Bethesda. There is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself, think, oh my god, just think of this world, just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more than, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us! Sorry, do you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
So, yeah, as you can...
That's all we know because we're so fucking boring. Again, you know, like the Roddenberry reality seems to be slipping further and further away from us, where the idea is, like, we've conquered all of life's issues, now we're just worried about where can we put our wiener. You know what I mean? Like, Captain Kirk was notorious for just doing what he wants and how he wants and having... I got lost in my thought because of all the noise in the background. No, it's just the idea that, like, since we tackled most of, like, society's issues, mainly food and resources, that we've moved on to bigger and better things. You know, what are we doing? What's our purpose? Let's go explore. Let's go look at stuff. And that's kind of the future that I was hoping for, and we seem to be getting further and further from it, because instead of looking around to find new things, we're looking around to find new problems.
See, absolute mental breakdown. There is no real way to explain why a middle-aged man is having this much of a crisis over pronouns in a video game. So, I actually know who this is. I used to watch their content. This is obviously, for those of you who don't know, this is Az from the channel Heal vs Babyface. He used to make a lot of World of Warcraft content, and I used to watch him a lot back in the day. I believe I was subscribed to him at around the 1,000 subscriber mark. I found his videos quite early through WoW, and I really enjoyed them. You know, he made a lot of good points about a lot of bad things happening in World of Warcraft, a game that at the time I really did love. Now, to clarify,
So if he's able to make a lot of good points and make a lot of good arguments that you agree with, why are you instantly opposed to, albeit an emotional response, but a sound emotional response?
I didn't know what
Because it goes against the way you think and feel about the situation? I feel like that's what's driving your response here.
Doesn't like, so that he can have this vicious cycle of ranting, and that's cool. Some channels do that. There's nothing wrong with it inherently. I mean, you know, get that bread however you're gonna get that bread.
Again, throwing shade.
This was just very, very strange. Because as I've stated, this is subjecting yourself to this. You know, making it an issue for yourself. Let's be completely and utterly honest. Let's be real here. What he is complaining about is not the inclusion of pronouns in his video games, right? They've been there for quite literally as long as video games have existed. Pronouns are part of the English language. What he's annoyed at is the fact that they are visible to him.
See, and that's where I got really irritated and why I decided to record this video, because you are being extremely fucking disingenuous with that statement right there. The Ackman is not pissed off that the fact that the word pronoun is visible. It's the fact that the current cultural context of the word pronoun is there, and it is put there with that sole intent and purpose. Because like I said in the comment section for this video, many games have had gender selection and gender choice as an option, going all the way back to Pokemon Gold and Silver, where you could choose to play as the female character if you wanted to. If I remember correct, that was Gold and Silver. Might have been Ruby and Sapphire. Either way, so gender selection has never been an issue and has never been a problem. Most games that I play as female characters because I prefer to stare at a female avatar for multiple hours a day versus a male avatar. I'm a man. I like looking at women. I like watching bouncing butts and bouncing titties. I love me some big titties. You know what I mean? Like, I love me some women. Whatever. Going forward, though, the Ackman is getting pissed off because he is going into a whole other reality. This is a universe created by some other person that does not adhere necessarily to our reality and how it functions. So when people inject our realities, functions into a fake world, it gets jarring and irritating to no end. Like he just said, I'm trying to go into this fantasy world with these fantasy people, with this fantasy reality and these fantasy physics and fantasy situations to be confronted with 2020 era Californian politics. What does 2020 Californian politics have to do with space exploration? And again, it's irritating because that's one of the first things that you see once you start the game. You know, people would be really irritated if, you know, in your character selection screen, there's a "We must stop the gays" poster just sitting in the background. You know what I mean? Or just some kind of religious, let's just say a Bible quote on a wall and the poster in the background of the selection screen for the character selection screen. I'm pretty sure we'd be getting the same type of response. But again, because you're speaking against the current cultural dogma, the current cultural paradigm, the current religion, people get up in their emotions and get... Oh, crap. They get up in their emotions and they get responsive like this.
Pronouns. Not the acts of pronouns existing, but the word pronoun being used seems to be exactly what he's moaning about, the thing he doesn't like. As I remember, he plays MMOs a lot, and pretty much every MMO has NPCs interact with you based off your male character or female character having the pronouns he, him, she, her, whatever. Doesn't really matter, right? They've existed in the gaming sphere for a long time. It's nothing new. In fact, they've been in the English language since it was first, you know, founded, let's say. Now, it should be noted that this is nothing new. Like, I'm aware that this has been a controversy for some bizarre reason for the longest time now. And people always seem to go to, oh, they're making it political, they've gone woke. And this just doesn't track, right? This doesn't line up or add up. And I'm going to tell you from a game developer's perspective why this is happening and why people are adding pronouns to their game. Baldur's Gate had it. You know, like, most games now are adding it. And I can give you a little anecdote from my own personal experience with backlash over this. Because yes, I've also been on the receiving end of backlash because a pronoun appeared in the Nightmare World interface demo that I presented a while back. I'll probably chuck a clip of that up here. While that was only really for development purposes, the backlash and outcrying from all of 5 people made make it very clear that it's not as big of an issue as people actually make it out to be, and it also shows that people don't understand reasoning behind anything, if I'm being quite honest.
See, that's a fucking arrogant standpoint. Oh, because I made a game and because I did a thing, therefore you're wrong. How about this, bucko? Let's talk about it from a game design perspective, like I left in your comments. Let's compare two games. The Sims 4 and Fallout New Vegas. In Fallout New Vegas, you can choose a female or a male character. And then there's a list of choices and options that are presented to you after that choice. So, for example, if you choose a female character, you can be given a set of perks that either benefit or inhibit your ability to operate in that game's world. One of the perks you're given as a female exclusive is called the Femme Fatale. And it offers you a whole slew of extra options as a female character to use your feminine wiles to get by in the world, whether that be using seduction, or it's just a lot of things, but basically just using the art of being a woman to get into places you shouldn't be. Really, it's a speechcraft skill. Really, is what it is. It's using your social advantages to leverage yourself into a better position. Essentially, a good example is most of the speech dialogue options that you get through the casino arc of the New Vegas game. But anyways, I got lost in the point that I was making. So there's various functions that are core built into the game that determine whether or not gender is relevant and how the decisions and actions are made accordingly. So, for example, there's a perk on the men where, like, I think you get an additional percentage damage towards female characters. Same thing. So these factors go into like the hard numbers, the RNG, the random number generation for the game. So like when a decision is made, so you pull the trigger on a gun, the game has to think, okay, well, is it a male firing the gun? Okay, cool. Is it a female receiving the bullet of the gun? Okay, cool. So let's factor in the damage accordingly. Fine. Same thing, as a side note, happened with Dead Island, and this caused a lot of controversy as a side note. So one of the female characters in the original Dead Island had a perk. I don't remember what the actual official name of the perk was, but the tag for the computer, or for the tag file itself in the files was named feminist cunt dot something something something, and basically what it comes down to is she had an additional bonus damage to male targets, especially male targets that are on the ground. So she, as a female character, had a pre-built advantage over male characters in this game. Okay, so I went on a long tirade, so bear with me. So I'm going to go back to the game of The Sims now. Sims 4. They incorporated the whole gender pronoun system into the most recent update and version of it, and it's fine. It's cool. It's a social game. It's built around social interactions, and gender pronoun and gender expression is very much a part of social interactions. So I don't have an issue with it being in the Sims game from that perspective. Like, you know, that Tim, or like the other gentleman just went on a rant about. But the point that I'm getting at, though, is that, like, when you go into The Sims and when you go into the character creation screen, save for romance and dating, gender doesn't really factor in a whole lot at how that game plays out. There's a small change in how people respond and behave around each other according to their gender identity and gender expression, but it's not factored in overall, and most of those can be overridden just through in-game interactions anyways. So the weight at which gender choice has on the gameplay functions is nowhere near to the same tier as gender would have on, let's say, a game like Fallout or Dead Island, where like actual damage percentages are calculated in through what gender your character is. And so we're getting back into this, what he was saying. He's like, oh, well, because I created a screen where, you know, you could choose your gender expression. All right, well, in your, nightmare world, does the gender identity have any factor on how you gather resources or how you interact with other players?
There is reasoning behind it. So I'm going to stop rambling, and I'll just get to the point. Pronouns already exist in pretty much every game. There is a variable in the game that you can't see as a player in most games that tells you what pronouns an NPC, a character, or you go by. And you might be blown away to find that out, right? This is a thing. Now, the bit that's baffling me is that people don't realise this. It takes all of 10, 15...
Yeah, and you're also conflating another tag system, you fucker. So there is a more or less pronoun system in games. So, like, you know, NPC A wants to engage with NPC B. So they'll do a couple of checks. It'll say, okay, so inspect NPC A inspects NPC B. So upon the inspection, it's going to ask for a couple of basic variables. What are you? Race. What are you? Gender. What are you? Age. You know what I mean? And then what are you? Let's say personality, if that factors into the game. And then, so as these NPCs are going back and forth and having these data dialogue dumps back and forth to each other, yeah, these pronoun tags come up. Yeah, the game says, oh, what are you? Oh, I'm a man. Okay, what are you? Okay, I'm a human man. Okay, cool. What are you? Oh, I'm a, you know, teenage human man. Okay, what are you? What are you doing? You know, type thing. And so, you know, we'll use like Oblivion as an example. Two random NPCs are going to walk up to each other, and this little secret dialogue is going to happen in the script, you know, on the back end away from everyone. It's going to happen in a second. These, you know, these little questions are going to bounce off of each other, and then they're going to get the answers, and then the visual, the on-screen scripting will take over. You know, NPC A will make a statement to NPC B. NPC B will then factor in all these back-end questions and then generate a response according to all these back-end information tags. And so, yeah, okay, pronoun tags do exist because, okay, so the king, Robert, wants to talk to the peasant, Joe, and exchange, you know, 10 pieces of gold currency. All these items have pronouns and tags in the game system. They're called tags, not pronouns, you disingenuous shithead.
Maybe, if that, let's be generous, let's say it takes an hour to make that variable visible in the UI. Let's say you're a terrible programmer and it takes an hour. I would say that from a game developer's perspective, that it would make sense for a studio to go out of their way for an hour and make that a visible option, because it already exists in code.
So it would be advantageous for a studio to go out of their way to make a gender identity known. If it has no effect on the overall gameplay, why waste the hour to put it on screen? Unless you want people to know about it.
Because let's be honest, the players who want to choose pronouns that may not be what you would expect are a small minority. Most people are going to go with he, him as a born male or she, her as a born female. Most people are going to go with that. The small minority that won't, God, does it really matter? They've taken an hour to make those players feel more included and to make them happy. At a cost to nobody.
At a cost to nobody, my ass, because you are incorporating a function on the first screen of the first thing that you see of a major AAA company's game. Yeah, I'm gonna go and roll back into my little rant. I'm actually trying to record a video because I'm gonna do a response. I'm actually gonna try to upload this onto YouTube and send it off, see if I can get some arguments started over this. Yeah, so what do you say now?
This has not come at a cost to players, to like Az, for example. This hasn't tainted his experience, as you know, as he would have you believe. Him seeing the word pronoun in the menu is a big issue. It's the game's ruined. That's it. It can't game the year anymore. We're done. Not that it was going to be anyway, because you know Baldur's Gate came out. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm sure Az has probably, because I believe this was off a live stream. This clip. I'm sure Az has watched this back and thought, oh god, I kind of regret going on that tirade over a word appearing in the UI. Now, I got backlash from, like I say, all the 5 people, because you can pick your pronouns in night mode, and there's a reason. This is mad, right? This is insane.
What's your reason? Come on.
It allows you to pick between a feminine, a masculine, and an androgynous body style, because not every male wants to look like Hercules, and not every female wants to look like Barbie.
Okay, so it's purely for aesthetics.
That's great, they can still do that. But you can...
Okay, but again, you're getting away from the argument that I was getting at earlier. Are you doing gender identity and gender expression as an aesthetics choice, or are you doing it as a games function choice? Because there's 2 different camps. You're telling me that you designed your gender identity scale for aesthetics because not every man wants to look like Hercules and not every woman wants to look like Aphrodite. Fine, I can respect that. But what about game companies, like I said earlier, that have designed this around actual hardcore core functions of the game? To me, it sounds like you're just putting that out there because you know that it'll get the attention of certain people and you'll get the brownie points. That's really what it seems like. This just seems like a shill. Like, I hate to be a douche about it, but it just seems like a shill.
Your body type, your hairstyle, your facial features to be more masculine or more feminine.
You're shilling, Callum.
To look as a character. I mean, that just makes sense. So, naturally, because you can pick a more feminine style body, still have a very masculine haircut, facial hair, and, you know, basically be like a little vampire twink if you want, you kind of have to inform us of what the pronouns you wish to be called by are. Purely because the game doesn't know. The game can't know. And God forbid the game chooses your pronouns, right? You make contact with an NPC, right? An NPC comes up to you. How do we address you? It? Them? If we default everyone to they, God, that'd be an uproar as well. So naturally, we're letting players pick. And here's the best part: almost all of you didn't care. It wasn't an issue because it's not an issue. But there were you know, a little sprinkling of people who drew issue with that and went as far as to say game will be dead on arrival. It's got pronouns. Yes, it's part of the English language. That's just how it works. Anyway, ladies and gents, this has just been a bit of a ranty video. I wasn't actually going to make a video on this because, like I say, I was waiting to finish off building the studio and having everything ready. But I figured it was a good, you know, good way to test out the.
Again, you could have waited, but you chose not to because you saw the dollar signs. You're over here throwing shade at Actman because the bread and the hustle, but you waited on finishing your studio to make this point known. God, I lost a lot of respect for you because of this video, honestly. Like, that actually really breaks my heart because I've been watching your videos since the Nightmare World, the start of that, and all the Dream World fiascos. I don't know. I'm not gonna unsubscribe or make any kind of claims about your character. I just think that this is a really bad take, and I lost a little respect for you, my dude. So, you know what? I don't do this very often, but I'm gonna give you a dislike because, let's be fair, this is a hot take and not a very good one. But you're still keeping my subscription because I like your channel overall, and I've been watching the Nightmare World. I need to get caught back up on that because I really do want to know. Yeah, like I said, I mean, we're allowed to agree to disagree. You know what I mean? Like, go give him a sub. He's a really good dude. He produces really good content. He's really big into the MMO sphere, and he usually has a pretty decent takes and opinions on the situation. But you know, not everyone agrees with everything that we agree with, and we don't always agree with everything that everyone else, you know, thinks and believes. And so, you know, we got to start combating the idea that we need to stop liking people because they have different opinions. Yeah, I don't like his take on pronouns, but I like his take on most everything else. So, like I said, I'm going to continue to support his channel. I'm going to continue to watch his content, but I'm going to call him out when he makes a stupid statement like this. But yeah, go check him out, Callum Upton. What's his link? Screw it, it's on screen. Callum Upton, YouTube.